What's going on, guys? Chuck back with another awesome Blu-ray purchase, and this is going to be a two-part video because today was a big, I got a big shipment today, and it was a Star Trek-centric shipment, as I did get the 4K editions of the original series films, as well as the collector set of Star Trek the Motion Picture. So I'm breaking this into two parts, starting with the collector set, and then part two I'll handle the actual rest of the films. So, without further ado, here is the complete adventure, Star Trek, the motion picture, the director's edition. And, get my head in there, I am extremely glad that Star Trek, the motion picture is getting this kind of attention. It's well deserved. I am one of the few, I guess, will say that I really do enjoy Star Trek the Motion Picture. I didn't always. It's one that's gone on me over the years. You know, in my youth, I guess go on to say that it was slow, kind of meandering, a lot of really talking, not much going on. You know, it was the motionless picture. But as I grow older, you know, you get older, your taste change, and I learned to appreciate the film much more, especially when you read the history of it and what it took to get to the screen. You know, from being TV series to TV movie to miniseries to whatever, then finally making it to what it ended up, and you know, that's fascinating. A great, fascinating part of Star Trek history. And to know that without this, you know, this was the big leap that really, I guess it's more price. If without this, there's no Star Trek 2. You know, this big budget, huge film, which I think did well, but not well enough. And then, you know, but it did well enough to make it part 2. That they brought the budget down and they, you know, made it more like the TV series, I guess. And then they were off to the races from then. But it's all because of the motion picture right here. And this is a great sci-fi adventure film. This is probably one that closest that are really true to the Star Trek exploration kind of theme, at least about the movies. Most movies are, you know, action-oriented bad guy plots. Of course, you know, everyone knows this. The plot of this film has been reused in Star Trek numerous times, so it's a classic. But like I said, it's good to see this film getting a good treatment with the director's edition here on this 4K collector set. Now, I'll point out this: a couple years ago, I actually got to see the motion picture on a theater screen as part of Fathom events. It was just the theatrical version, but it was still awesome to see these visual effects on a big screen. I can only imagine, you know, how they would have been if it had been like the director's edition. Now, as for the director's edition, this was originally released on DVD when they did this. There are 2 disc sets there, or you know, these collector sets they're doing for the Star Trek movies, and this was the first time the director's edition was put onto home video. And as most people may or may not know, the director's edition is basically, you know, with the supervision of Robert Wise, the director, went in and they were able to add special effects. You know, they cleaned up some things, maybe made a trim here and there, and really cleaned up specifically the V'ger effect is, you know, improved greatly. And, you know, a lot of the other visual effects towards the, you know, third act of the film are cleaned up and look really good. But this is the first time it was released was on this set. I don't think it ever came out on Blu-ray. I don't think. I know obviously the motion picture did, but I'm not sure the director's edition ever did. But here you get, it was released not too long ago digitally or on streaming, and now here it is in this set, as well as a standalone disc by itself. You can get. That's actually into this. That's either in a 4K disc set or individually as Blu-ray with digital code. They didn't put them together for whatever reason, which is kind of irksome. I'll get into that later. But you know, here's this. Without further ado, this set here, and I'll tell you a little more about my thoughts on this particular set. And you see, it's kind of a cardboardy. So there's the back. I don't know if the reflection of the phone camera. And it just slides out here like a little booklet, or kind of book, hardcover. But you see, this is just I'm a little disappointed that this is kind of a flimsy cardboard. You know, in the image in the picture, I was expecting this to actually be a nice, solid hardcover. Obviously, that is not what it is, so you gotta be really careful. This gets, you know, gets smushed and dented up easily. Here's the back that was on there with all the info. If I can get that in there, I can't see, but there. Okay, and then here we have, again, this same thing, but this is going to open up, and you've got all these goodies inside here. What I find interesting is you've got two little things from Robert Wise here, and they're actually the same thing. Just one is, you know, note here it's on this full front page, but then you also have this here, which the back of this contains the digital codes. So that's probably why they have this. But this is a little tribute from, I think this might have been put on the director's DVD, because obviously Robert Wise is no longer with us and he hasn't been for quite a while. So this isn't anything new, but it's still neat to have. And of course, you got your pocket full of goodies here, and this will open up to a great cutaway of the Enterprise, which is really nice. But then comes to my only other really complaint with this set is how these discs are packaged in here, because they are very hard to get out. Not what I would prefer. You know, nice if they put like little hubs and a snap on, and you know, that'd been fine. But as it is, let's see, you know, you've really got to reach in there and kind of slide them out to get them out, and it's scary. It really is scary to, I can't just, you know, and you've got this little, you can see this kind of bump right here that's kind of stopping it from coming out, but it's in there pretty tight. This one kind of slides out, and this is the 4K of the theatrical version, and the special longer cut, the television version, which was only made available on home video on VHS way back in the 80s sometime. And when they had like the big box set, or you could buy the 6 films together where they formed the picture of the Enterprise. However, this one and that set, you know, matched up just the theatrical version, but they actually had the TV version available on VHS, which I do have a copy of upstairs and somewhere of my VHS tapes. But again, so they put that in 4K along with the theatrical version, and the television version is on here. This Blu-ray disc is your bonus stuff. And in the hard to reach spot right here, oh, look at that, I got it out, is the 4K of the director's cut. So maybe you can finagle it a little bit, and it was kind of work. So, right? Yeah, I get the right one on here? Yes, because there you go. So there's that. Again, there's a nice cutaway of the Enterprise, which is kind of cool. So again, you know, this is really neat, but again, a little complaint about sometimes some of the difficulty with getting these discs out, but you know, maybe you can work them, finagle them around, they'll come out. Although, again, you're rubbing against the back of this, not ideal. So let's take a look at the goodies that are in here. What we got. Oh my, is that? Okay. So we've got some little stickers here. We got some bumper stickers. Very small bumper stickers, like replica bumper stickers. Beam me up, Mr. Spock. Whoever says beam me up, Mr. Spock, is always beam me up, Scotty, which is still wrong, but you know. I am a Trekkie. Or a Trekker. You know, equal representation, right? And then this Star Trek motion picture. We've got, looks like some produced lobby cards here, but I haven't actually ripped the plastic off that. Let's see if I can do it right now. Let's see if it's more than one, or if it's just, I am not prepared. Oh my goodness, I'm trying very hard. I don't have a cutting tool with me. I'm trying to rip this with my finger. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Gripping video. Okay. All right, we got this little thing open, and yeah, it looks like some lobby card reproduction. So there's this here. Leonard Nimoy. And then the last one. So there's all of those. Let's see. Okay, and then the well, not the last thing, but they also threw in a little kind of mini poster of the director's cut, or director's edition, excuse me. And then the big thing in here is you have this little book here, the Star Trek Motion Picture Archives. Here's the back. And what's in here is basically a lot of artwork and production stills and notes. It's kind of cool. You can tell this, the production design on this film is just amazing. Again, going back to as you get older, you learn to appreciate what you're seeing more than as a kid. And the first time I saw this movie actually was on ABC television. It was like a two-night huge event. So I saw the TV cut before I saw the actual movie. And actually, it was the second piece of Star Trek I ever saw. As the first was Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan in the theater. That was my first introduction to Star Trek. So, I hadn't even seen the TV series at that point. And that is it. So that's that. So that is everything in here. It's a lot of little goodies, little trinkets, nice little paraphernalia, I guess you wouldn't call it. Get all this stuff back in here. Okay, put this in there. Put the card back in here. Lots of this back away. Okay, and let's slide it back in the box. So, and like I said, this is great to have this again. This is the only way you're going to get all three versions of the film. You get in 4K. The director's edition, the theatrical version, and the television version. I think on the standalone disc, you can get the standalone 4K, which this has the theatrical version and the director's edition, and then the Blu-ray, same thing, the director's edition and the theatrical version. So this is the only way you're going to get the longer television version in 4K, or even on disc. Period. It's unless they release it separately somewhere down the line, which wouldn't surprise me. But as of now, this is the only way you can get that if you're an absolute completist like myself and want to get that. If not, you can get one of the other two versions and be happy whichever. Again, not having a 4K player, why do I have this? Because I did buy the Blu-ray version of this, but I could not pass this up because this is such a beautiful set for the motion picture that I had to get this. And again, buying for the future, right? Eventually I'll get that 4K player, and I'll get to check out the 4K brilliance of it. But I do have the Blu-ray, which we'll see in part 2. But again, as far as the packaging, I'm slightly disappointed with it. I really seeing it and the publicity stills or whatever you want to call it. I was imagining this was like a hardcover case, and maybe it was wishful thinking on my part. But I think a little bit nicer to put that in. I was thinking it was going to be something more akin to, about something really old here, this Planet of the Apes set that came out so many years ago, which is a beautiful, beautiful Blu-ray set. Now, granted, this is 5 films. This is a whole series, not just one movie. But this is the kind of presentation I was expecting to get. Something like this that's a hardcover box. Slip out, you get this book, and I was This is similar to what that you've got. It opens up. Now again, I know there's more to this than just one movie, but I like, you've got your discs and these little hubs, which make them easy to get out. Which, and of course, you got the big booklet here. I was really thinking that this was going to be. So slight disappointment in that, but it's still good that they did this treatment for the motion picture, because it definitely is. If you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a long time, and you haven't seen the director's edition, I definitely recommend checking it out. I don't know if it's the director's edition has been enhanced and changed even more since the initial release on DVD. Obviously, other than the 4K, they did advertise on here that they found more deleted scenes, more extra footage. Now, whether that's incorporated into the film or this is as a bonus feature, which I'm thinking is probably more a bonus feature. I won't know till I go through the sets and check it out. But still, it's definitely worth picking up. And this, they've done a great job with this packaging, notwithstanding, whatever the phrase is. So definitely pick this up, or pick up the individual disc, but somehow get a hold of this for yourself, especially if you're a Star Trek fan. You owe it to yourself to pick up the director's edition. If you've never seen it, go see it. See it. It's right here. You have no excuse. So that is it for part 1. And until part 2, I'll see you on the other side of this video for part 2.